Hello all, welcome to Genius channel. We will see some previous year maths questions of MBA exam. Okay, read the 112th question, question number 112. If 5 of a company's 10 delivery trucks, if 5 of a company's 10 delivery trucks do not meet emission standards and 3 of them are chosen for inspection, then what is the probability that none of the trucks chosen will meet emission standards? If 5 of 10 companies' delivery trucks do not meet emission standards and 3 of them are chosen for inspection, then what is the probability that none of these trucks chosen will meet emission standards? Okay, we have done similar questions earlier. I want you to answer that yourself, answer and give me the answers as comments. Okay, please try and give me the answers as comments. I'll give you 1 minute for doing this question. Okay, did you get the answer? How to do? See, we have to find the probability that none of the trucks chosen will meet the emission standards. So none of the trucks meet the emission standard. Okay, none of the trucks. So how many trucks do not meet emission standards? That is 5 trucks. So from that, how many they need to choose? They need to choose 3 for inspection, isn't it? So from 5, choosing 3 means 5C3 divided by total, how many trucks are there? 10 trucks, isn't it? And out of that, how many they are choosing? They are choosing 3. Is it? So 5C3 divided by 10C3. Understood? Because we need none of the trucks meet emission standards. So we have to choose 3 from 5 that do not meet emission standards divided by total number of trucks. So out of 10, we are choosing 3. Okay, so 5C3 divided by 10C3. Okay, so do this. So this will become 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 2 factorial divided by 10 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 7 factorial. Okay, so 3 factorial and 3 factorial is gone. So that is 5 factorial by 2 factorial into 7 factorial by 10 factorial. So just perform this. So here you will get 10 into 9 into 8. Here you will get 5 into 4 into 3. Okay. So 20 and 42 times. So that is 3 by 5 into 4 into 3. Actually, this is 9, isn't it? Okay. So just do this first. So 5 into 4 into 3, 10 into 9 into 8. Okay, just perform. So 20 and 80, so 4 times it. So 3 and 9, 3 times. So it is 1 by 12. So answer is option C, 1 by 12. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So here the answer is option C, 1 by 12. So only the thing that you have to understand is this part. The remaining is just calculation. Go to the next question. Question number 113. There are 3 coins in a box. There are 3 coins in a box. 3 coins in a box. One is a 2-headed coin. Another is a fair coin. And the third is bias coin that comes up heads 75% of the time. There are 3 coins in a box. One is 2-headed coin. Another one is a fair coin. Third is bias coin that comes up 75% ahead 75% of the time. When one of these 3 coins is selected at random and flipped, it shows head. What is the probability that it was 2-headed coin? So when we are flipping that, we are getting head. Then you have to find what is the probability that it is a 2-headed coin. It is a 2-headed coin. All of you try. So here it is conditional probability, isn't it? Because what is the condition? Given that you are getting head. Given that you are getting head, isn't it? Because they are telling that you are getting head. So given one is you are getting head, and what is the condition? It should be 2-headed coin. 2-headed coin is the condition required. So if I am taking even as the event that represent even as 2-headed coin, E2 as fair coin, E3 as biased coin, then what is the probability that it shows 2-headed coin, and it is given that it is head. So we have to find P of E1 given E. E is you have to get head, probability of getting head. So P of E1 given E means given that it is head, you need E1. That is, it should be 2-headed coin. Okay, so try. So what is the formula for P of E1 given E? That is P of E1 into P of E by E1, E given E1 divided by P of E1, P of E given E1 plus P of E2, P of E given E2 plus P of E3, P of E given E3. So this is Bayes' theorem, isn't it? This is Bayes' theorem. So this is a question from Bayes' theorem. Bayes' theorem. So apply that. So once you put this P of E, what is P of E1? P of E1 into P of E given E1. Okay, so what is P of E1? There are how many boxes in the coin? There are 3. How many coins in the box? There are 3 coins. So P of E1 is 1 by 3. P of E2 is also 1 by 3. P of E3 is also 1 by 3. Why? Because there are totally 3 coins in the box and we are choosing 1, isn't it? So it is 1 by 3. So 1 by 3 into P of E given E1 means from the 2-headed coin getting head. That means 1. 1 by 1 because only 2 heads are there. Both of them are heads, isn't it? So P of E given E1 is 1 from 2-headed coin getting head. Probability is 1. It's a sure event, isn't it? Then here also 1 by 3 into 1 plus P of E2, that is 1 by 3 1 by 3 into E given E2 means from fair coin you have to get head, that is 1 by 2 plus P of E3. E3 is 1 by 3 into E given E3. E given E3 means from the third coin, that is 75% of the time the head is coming. 75% of the time means 75 by 100, isn't it? So that is 3 by 4. So 3 by 4. Now it's just solving. Solve this and find out the answer, what you are getting. So that will get us 1 by 3 divided by 1 by 3 divided by 1 by 3 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 4. So 1 by 3 divided by, here you will get, the common denominator is 12. So it is 4 plus 2 plus 3. 6 plus 3, 9 divided by 12. So that is 12 divided by 1 by 3 into 12 by 9. So that is 4 by 9. Answer is 4 by 9, option C. So this is Bayes' theorem, and this is very easy. If Bayes' theorem is coming, only you have to identify what are the events. You will be getting the answer easily. Very easy. If Bayes' theorem, you are getting a question from Bayes' theorem, it is going to be very easy. Please go through by heart the Bayes' theorem formula. Okay. So we will go to the next question. If a fair die is rolled 4 times, question number 100. Once again, we'll go to 114 and then come to 115. Question number 114. 114. Consider the following statements. If A and B are mutually exclusive events, then it is possible that P of A is equal to P of B is equal to 0.6. Second statement, if A and B are any two events such that P of A given B is equal to 1, then P of B bar given A bar is equal to 1. Please try. What you have to do is you have to choose the correct statements from this. Which of the following statements is correct? Options are, I'll show the options. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So you have to choose which is the correct statement. I'll show the question again. Question number 114 is what you have to do. Question number 114, read each statement and try to solve. Okay, so what about the first statement? Are you getting? A and B are two mutually exclusive events. So mutually exclusive events means what? P of A intersection B is equal to 0. Now check this part. What is P of A union B? P of A union B is P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B, isn't it? So here if I put that is 0.6 plus 0.6 minus 0. Intersection B is 0 because it is mutually exclusive. So it is 1.2. So P of A union B you got as 1.2, but probability can never be greater than 1. Probability always, the value of probability always lies between 0 and 1. It always lies between 0 and 1. Probability value will always lies between 0 and 1. Minimum means 0. That is, it is an impossible event. If it is 0, we call it as impossible event. If it is 1, we'll call it as a sure event. So all the values we are getting will be in between zeros and 1. Now, it cannot be negative and it cannot be less greater than 1 also. Negative not possible, greater than 1, not possible. Only it will be between 0 and 1. So the first statement is wrong. First statement is wrong. That this is the explanation. Now you try the second statement. Just check how can you do. I'll give you 30 seconds. Please try to solve the second statement. Okay. So the second one, have you got the answer? Is that correct statement? The statement. So this we got as wrong. Okay. So let's see how to do. P of A given B is given as 1. We need to check whether P of B bar given A bar is equal to 1. Okay, let's try. So P of B bar given A bar means what is the formula? That will become P of B bar intersection A bar divided by P of A bar, isn't it? So this is what you have to get as 1, isn't it? So can I write this as P of B union A the whole complement divided by P of A complement? Can I write like this? Because A union A intersection A bar intersection B bar is equal to P of A bar intersection B bar is equal to P of A union B the whole bar, isn't it? So I wrote like this. Now listen, this thing is what we have to find out. But we are given that P of A given B is equal to 1. So we'll choose from that P of A given B is equal to 1 means P of A intersection B divided by P of B is equal to 1. That means P of A intersection B is equal to P of B. Isn't it? Now, what is P of A union B? We need union B, isn't it? So I'm going for A union B, that is P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So that is P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B is P of B. So that is P of A. So P of A in union B, I got as P of A. P of A union B, I got as P of A. Okay. But what I need here, I need A union B the whole complement. So that I can write as 1 minus P of A union B. P of A bar I can write as 1 minus P of A. Isn't it? So 1 minus P of A union B divided by 1 minus P of A. So I know 1 minus P of A union B is nothing but P of A divided by 1 minus P of A, that is equal to 1. So I got this statement as correct. Understood what I did? I wanted this one. So I wrote P of B bar given A bar. That formula I have. I wrote the formula. I found out A union B from here, from the first one. Then I substituted that. I got 1 by P minus A, P of A by 1 by P of A. That is 1. So answer is second statement only correct. So 2 only is the correct answer. So please copy down this. Our correct statement is second statement. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Before that, you have to mark the answer for this one. The answer is 2 only. 2 only is the correct statement. Okay. Okay. So see the question number 115. Question number 115. If a fair die is rolled 4 times, if a fair die is rolled 4 times, what is the probability that there are exactly 2 sixes? A fair die is rolled 4 times. What is the probability that there are exactly 2 sixes? Please do. I'll give you 30 seconds. So this is from Bernoulli's trials, isn't it? Bernoulli's trials. Question from Bernoulli trials. Just do how to do. For the people who are studying that for the first time, listen. When a process, when a thing we are doing repeatedly, that is coming in Bernoulli's trials. Okay. When we are doing any activity repeatedly. Okay. Suppose rolling a die 4 times, rolling a coin 6 times, like that. Okay. So fair die rolled how many times? 4 times. So you have to write n is equal to 4. Okay. And exactly how many sixes you have to get? You have to get 2 sixes. So R is equal to 2. So the required probability is required. So from 4 times when we are rolling, you have to get 2 sixes, isn't it? So what is the probability? Required probability is NCR P raised to R Q raised to N minus R. NCR P raised to R Q raised to N minus R is the required probability. Okay. Now, what is P and what is Q? So in a single trial, when I am throwing a die 1 time, what is the probability that I get a 6? That is 1 by 6, isn't it? Because dice, we have 6 outcomes. From that, one number is 6. So probability of getting 6 is 1 by 6. Now for probability of 6 not coming, that is 5 by 6, isn't it? So 1 by 6 is P, 5 by 6 is Q. Now you have to just put here. So that is 4C2, 1 by 6 raised to 2, 5 by 6 raised to n minus r, that is 4 minus 2, again 2. So do this. So that is 4 factorial by 2 factorial into 2 factorial into 1 by 36 into 25 by 36. So this will be 4 into 3. This is 2. So this will be 6. So it will be 25 divided by 216. 25 divided by 216. So the answer is option B. 25 divided by 216 is the correct answer. Okay. So I had this formula for Bernoulli trials, Bernoulli distribution. Okay, let's go to next question. Question number 116. Question number 116. Mean of 100 observations is 50. Mean of 100 observations is 50. And standard deviation is 10. If 5 is added to each observation, then what will be the new mean and new standard deviation? Mean of 100 observations is 50. And standard deviation is 10. Mean is 50. Now, if to each observations we are adding 5, then what is new mean? New mean is nothing but 50 plus 5. So if each observation is added by a number, you have to just add that to the mean, then you will get the new mean. So new mean is 55. Next is standard deviation. When a number is added to each observation, then there is no change in the standard deviation. Addition or subtraction to each term will not have any effect on the standard deviation. So standard deviation is same value, that is 10 itself. So mean is 55, standard deviation is 10 itself. So the answer is option C, 55, 10. Okay. So see you in the next class with some more questions. Thank you.